Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the MTB Shed. We're here for the weekly update. It's our first podcast of the year. I skipped out on the one after Christmas. But I figured we'd jump right into it with the giveaway this year. I always go to a Blues game on my birthday, so there's a Blues game coming up on the 15th. I've got a set of tickets for myself, and then I thought it'd be really cool to give away a set of tickets as well. You won't be sitting with me, but you will be sitting with whoever you want to take to the game. So in order to win, you can jump over to our Facebook page, the pinned post up there, share that publicly. That'll get you an entry to win. But before you do that, you need to go over YouTube, make sure you're subscribed there in order to be eligible. And then if you want an entry over on YouTube, just go and watch any video, watch it all the way through, give it a like, but comment. So if you comment on a YouTube video and you're subscribed, you're going to get an entry there. And then on Facebook, you're going to get an entry as well. So that's a really cool way to win the tickets. The game's for January 15th. We're going to announce the winner on next week's weekly update. So make sure you're tuned in for that. Linda's here with us. She's sleeping a little bit off to the side, so I'll have to fix that. There she goes. So Linda's joined us here for the podcast this evening. She's a little bit sleepy, but yeah, I thought we'd go over kind of last year, kind of what's been going on in the bike industry this year, and then move forward past that. Oh, with the Blues tickets, you can get an infinite entry into this year's contest. We'll get you automatic entry into every drawing that we do if you purchase one of the following three items. Anybody who purchases a new bike, adult mountain bike from us this year is going to get auto entry into every drawing we do this year. Anybody who purchases a watch, so that's everything from a $29.95 Casio. This one's really cool. All the way up to our Trigraph G-Shocks for a little bit more, around $100, to Garmin Instincts. We've got Instinct 2s for $299 right now, or even something like the Vivo Smart, or the Vivo Smart here, or the Vivo Move Sport. These are sub $200 options. So any watch that you buy, any adult mountain bike that you buy, or any trail support jersey that you buy, you're going to get automatic free entry to every drawing that we do this year. We're going to know to enter you into that drawing because I'm going to take a picture of you with this here Polaroid. It's, for whatever reason, something I've gotten into for this year, so expect to see a lot of that. But I will take a Polaroid of you either wearing your watch or your new jersey or with your new bike. That'll hang up in the shop, and then every time we do a drawing, I'll look through all my pictures, write down everybody's name, and automatically put you guys into the drawing to win. So that's really cool. But yeah, 2023 was an interesting year. I'm not exactly sure how we made it, but it just kind of seemed to pass right by. So glad to kind of move on from that, get into 2024. As far as social media side, kind of the positives from last year, you guys really watched, you subscribed, you followed along. We were able to get a lot of growth done. So we grew over 600 subs on YouTube and got over 250,000 views over there. So that's really impressive, especially this is our third season of the MTB Shed Live podcast. For a while, we were just kind of, between 50 and 100 subscribers, a few people watching every video, but we've really seen that momentum growing. So again, go over there and subscribe and comment, get entered in the contest, but help keep that momentum going into 2024 with us. We're going to do a bunch of giveaways again this year. I've got some really cool stuff in mind. Obviously, the Blues tickets are going to keep coming up for you guys. So that's really fun. And then just kind of popping back real quick as far as our plans for this season. So we're going to switch things up, as you know, kind of each season of the podcast. I want to do something a little bit different so we don't get stale and we don't get boring on you. So for this season, I'm really going to focus on customer experience. So we'll go around different parts of the store. We'll go sit in the tire section. We'll go sit by the grips. We'll go sit by the saddles and the shorts and the jerseys and shoes and lights and bags and fenders. And we'll kind of go in and have those conversations that we have in shop. Of course, when you come into the mountain bike shed, we try to give you a second to breathe, but then I'm going to ask you what you came in for. Typically, people come in for something specific, not always, but if you do, then, normally I'll walk over with you to the section that you're looking at, and we'll start talking about that. So I want to get those conversations out there to you guys. And that was the kind of whole idea behind this podcast, was to give that in-store experience to people maybe who can't make it by, or before you come in-store, go to your local bike shop, that you're going to be prepared and be ready for that. So that'll be really fun. We'll just be able to have those candid conversations with you. They're not really, it won't be product reviews. I think we've kind of ended up doing that a lot of times this year and got really specific and geeking out, whereas I just want to kind of give a little bit more of a general feel, a little bit better feel for people before they go into their local bike shop and buy things. That kind of brings me to my next point here. Going into your local bike shop and purchasing products is going to be key this year. We're seeing a lot of smaller companies, a lot of bike shops going out of business. And the bike shop plays an important role in your ability to ride mountain bikes locally. So shops support a lot of your races that you see going on in the area. Shops, help organize events and help, communicate with people. Shops give you a place to come and talk about mountain bikes because nobody else cares. I've got other hobbies. As you guys know, I really got pretty deep into watches last year, or my motorcycle here. These are all industries, they're niche markets, kind of like mountain biking is. And when I want to talk to somebody about watches in St. Louis, there's not a watch shop I can go to. There's timekeepers, but other than that, there's nowhere I can go and look at watches, discuss the pros and cons of different styles and things I like. So again, this is why we want to support our local stores. We want to support whatever your local bike shop is, spend money there. And I hate to say if you're spending a little bit more, but there's so many wild sales going on now. Price can't always be the decider in your hobbies. So you have to really look. And I did this well before I owned the shop. I made a point of going to my local shop and getting everything there. I didn't go on Amazon. It was a little bit extra hassle to drive up there and then have to come back and pick up the part a week later, and all these things. But to me, it was very important to do that. And when I was looking for a bike, I wasn't going to consider any other bike brand than what my local bike shop carried, because it was as important to me, or more important to me, to support my local bike shop and make sure I was continuing and being part of that ecosystem, rather than buying something online just because it was a good deal. If I can't afford it at my local shop, then I was just kind of like, all right, well, I don't really need this. Maybe I'll look for something else that I can get here. I feel good about my purchase. So, make sure you're going into your local shops, buying stuff. It's important more now than ever. I know for our sales numbers, as we wrapped up 2023, our numbers were about 20% less than they were in 2019, kind of pre-pandemic. And that's not factoring in inflation, which has been about 20% as far as all of our goods go. So really, maybe we're down 30%, 35% than we were 2019. And that's going to be across the board with all bike shops, whether they're telling you that or not. Everybody's sitting on a ton of inventory. We seen this kind of coming summer of 2021 is when we started slowing down. And we've never really kept all that much inventory. So we're kind of back to normal as far as that stock goes, but definitely seeing less traffic and less bikes being bought. So that's something interesting. I went back through my numbers since 2019 to try to get a gauge on, because I'm starting to see now in a lot of like our bike shop forums, there's a lot of shops talking about not carrying bikes any longer. Just kind of ordering for you guys as you need, let customers come in, maybe sizing you on a couple different things, and then ordering those bikes in. So that's a big loss for the customer. You guys aren't going to have as many bikes in the stores to see. And that's going to be the same thing too. Like, I didn't bring in any fall stuff this year. We still have plenty of long sleeves. I got a couple pairs of pants, but we didn't go real heavy on it. Again, these are decisions as a shop owner that I'm having to make because we didn't have a great year last year because people were buying deals online instead of coming into the shop. So, really just kind of hurts you guys more. And then what happens once the small shops disappear? The only people that can survive is the big conglomerates or the shops and brands that get bought up by investor groups. And then the bottom line becomes the most important thing to them. So you're going to see less innovative product. You're going to see, you're going to go look for gloves 5 years from now, 10 years from now. There's going to be 3 companies doing them. They're all going to be exactly the same. We see this in other products, so I don't think it surprises anybody. But same goes for with watches. The prices are super high on the top end. On the lower end, there's really just no innovation there, nothing to go with. Recently, I've been getting into pens. Same thing. This is a really cool hobby. There are some really pricey pens out there. A lot of different cool things to geek out on. And there's not a shop I can go to and go look at pens and talk pens with somebody. So again, super important that we're supporting our local bike shops. It's an interesting thing for us is, so bike sales used to be about 55% of our business, and then we'd sell parts and accessories and things along those lines. So 2019, it was 50% of our business. In 2020, 54, 2021, 54%. 2022, we dropped down to 49%. And in 2023, bikes only equated for 26% of our sales. So you can imagine how much money I'm going to guess that's pretty common with all bike shops right now, is they're selling a smaller percentage than they used to. So that's that kind of big chunk of cash that allows us to eat up some of this other inventory that we have. So that's why you're going to see bike shops, once they can start unloading inventory, maybe stocking a little bit less, especially the smaller shops as we go on. And then something else to keep in mind, in 2020, we were making a 28% margin on our bike sales. In 2021, 31%. So that's all pretty normal. And that's just straight off the top. So you buy a $1,000 bike. For a $1,000 bike, we essentially were paying $700 for that bike. And then we were selling it for $1,000. Now, shipping's about $100 a bike. We have to build that bike for the customer. Then we have to do at least one free service to check that bike after you've bought it. And then, of course, we help you out at no cost with warranty stuff and other small adjustments that might come up on your bike. So on a $1,000 bike, we paid $700 for that if we were making 30%. Now, if we jump ahead to 2022, that's when all these bike sales started. Companies like Trek and other big companies didn't help out dealers when they finally put their bikes on sale. We had to eat those. So my margins on 2022 bikes, which were about 50% of my sales, were 12%. That's impossible. We lost so much money in 2022. It was brutal. And that basically negated any of the profits from the 2 years previous. But at that 12%, so imagine you buy a $1,000 bike. Well, we paid $880 for it. So, and then you add shipping in. Well, shipping's $75. So it takes till we get to a $1,000 bike at 12%. We're not even breaking even, and that's assuming I'm not paying anybody to build that bike, to look at that bike after your first check-in. So keep that in mind as well when you're negotiating prices on bikes in shops. And then this year, we still stayed really low as far as those percentages goes, because a lot of those bikes were bought at it's 11%. I have to go through. We haven't completed those numbers yet, so I think that'll come up a little bit closer, maybe to 18 or 20%. Because we ended up picking up Intense. We got some discounts on bikes there. But yeah, I mean, as far as this is showing, we've only, maybe made 15%, 20% on bikes this year. Again, we've got rent, electric, all these other things in order to have a workshop here and to be here to provide that knowledge. That all costs a lot of money. We did, in order to cut money, and I think the only reason why we were able to continue through this year, my health did improve. I'm here every day now, so if you come into the shop, you can come in, talk to me. I'm going to give you my honest answers and thoughts on any products or questions you may have. So that saved us a lot there, but Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think you guys are going to see a lot of bike shops disappearing over the next couple of years or the next year, year and a half. Same thing with brands. Wiggle is a big bike, kind of our quality bike parts of Europe, so a big part supplier. They're going out of business, or they filed for bankruptcy. Chain Reactions filing for bankruptcy right now. That's the biggest online retailer. Chain Reaction, you guys all know, they're filing bankruptcy right now. Gorilla Gravity is being liquidated as we speak. Local bike shop, we've seen local bike shops close here in St. Louis. We're seeing it on the other side of the state as well. Things are starting to be sold off now. So this is going to kind of speed up and accelerate as we work our way through 2024. So it's more important than ever to make sure you guys are going into your local shop, spending money there. Maybe it's not the exact color you want. Great. Let's get some of that inventory out so those shops can continue to bring you in that new innovative product. I'm telling you, you don't want to get to the point to where shops are just blowing which we've been doing, but blowing everything out and not being able to bring in that new product for you. Just looking at things online and listening to some random guy talk about a product and you don't know who's paying who or what's going on with it. Really isn't fun for a hobby. Like I said, in a lot of the different kind of niche variety hobbies that I'm into, there's really nowhere to go for this type of stuff. Like for the pens, Goulet Pens is the one and only place. No one else cares about it anymore. Street bikes and stuff like that, same thing. Like there's, I can go to dealers. Well, that's not going to be, they don't have a very good part selection, even the Honda dealer or apparel or any of those types of things that I want. So yeah, it's limiting options because nobody supported those industries that were into those hobbies. It's our responsibility as riders, as niche enthusiasts, to make sure we're supporting the businesses that are supporting the niche thing that we're into, whether that's, like same thing with pens. I just bought a new pen. I could have got it a little bit cheaper somewhere else. I, of course, can't go anywhere in person in St. Louis to find a pen. So I could have got a little bit cheaper on Amazon, but instead I went directly through Goulet to get these things because I want to support the industry as much as possible, and he's the only guy really out there pushing. Eventually, we'll get there in cycling as well. This is a story that's been going on for a while, but it's really going to be hitting ahead now. So, this is kind of crunch time as far as supporting your local bike shops, making sure you're making a point to go in and grab the things you need. I mean, we saw the Garmin fitness watches. We also saw the Garmin off-road computers, Garmin car stuff. So go into your bike shop, grab the things you can from them, help support your local businesses so that you have that local support, because it's going to go away elsewise. We're already seeing it in the industry. We'll be here all year, no doubt about that. I've been able to lean this place down pretty significantly, so we'll keep trooping through. But we need you guys to come in the wintertime and grab jerseys, grab watches. If you're thinking about a new bike, get a new bike. Talk to a friend into mountain biking. If you want your sport to continue to be here and be something where we're seeing new trails and seeing new product, talk a friend that's, maybe a little bit fit and maybe take him out for a mountain bike ride, get him to buy a bike locally and, keep the sport growing and keep it going. But that's it. I won't be on my horse too much more. That's 2024. Again, super important year, more so than ever, that you guys are going into your local shops and buying the things they have in stock. And helping them clear those things out so they can bring in new product for you. If you walk into a bike shop, probably everything you see is paid for, or at least the manufacturer is paid for that. So, they don't just send us product and then tell us to pay them when we sell it. That's all purchased product. So keep that in mind. Go in, support your local shops. Don't buy bike stuff online. You need to support your local community. And this will be my one soapbox for you guys for the year. Elsewise, we'll go out there, we'll talk about products, we'll give you the same in-store experience online so you guys can be ready anytime you go shop bike parts. Tune in next week. We'll do the drawing for the Blues tickets. Again, you can get perennial entries to every drawing this year if you buy a watch, a bike, or a Trail Support jersey from us this year. Let us snap a Polaroid of you. We can enter you into every drawing automatically. You don't have to do anything more. Or to get an extra entry or your only entry, if you don't do that, share the pinned Facebook post publicly. If you don't do it publicly, we don't know who shared it. But you have to be subscribed on YouTube, and go ahead and throw a comment while you're there on any video, and you'll get another entry. So tune in next week. Thanks, guys. I hope you guys have a great 2024. I really look forward to it. We made it through 2023, so it's just looking up from here.